Hi, everybody. My name is Nicole Bostel. I'm the Director of Communications here at STEM School Highlands Ranch. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Our session today is on Driveline and Pick My Kid, and I'm going to get through this as quickly as possible. So I appreciate everybody who has joined us today and also everybody who is going to be watching this later. It is pretty extensive, and I will cover some questions at the end. So I just want to say thank you for your patience as we get going. Please stay tuned. It's a lot of information, but we're also here to help. So what we'll be covering in this presentation includes why do we have drive lines? We're going to talk about walkers and bikers. We're going to talk about West Drive Line, morning and afternoon pickup and drop off. And then we're also going to talk about our East Drive Line, morning and afternoon drop off and pickup. Okay, why do we have a drive line? So our drive line is a requirement of our transportation management plan, which is a requirement for us to maintain our charter contract with Douglas County School District. It's really important that everybody understands this. In order for us to operate as a charter school, we have to have a transportation management on file with our charter contract with the school district of Douglas County. In addition, we also have to file it with the Douglas County commissioners, so that way they have it on file also. And they do require us to present a document that is put together by an expert. So we have contracted with Fox Tuttle since the very beginning. Our transportation management plan is, I would say, over 6-7 years old. Fox and Tuttle is one of the highly respected transportation management organizations that helps all different kinds of organizations, including schools, put together a traffic management plan or a transportation management plan that needs to be on file with any local or county government. That way, in the event something happens or something needs to be referenced, the county can go back and say, this is what this business has agreed to do. So it's really important that all of our families follow and understand what is in our transportation management plan. One, because we need it in order to operate. And two, because we are in what is considered a business park, we have to be good neighbors to those around us. So we're going to talk a little bit about our walkers and our bike riders. So in the morning, we need all of our walkers and our bike riders to please use the crosswalks at all times to access our campus. This is incredibly, incredibly important. This is a big part of our transportation management plan that we are informing our parents that they need to be using the crosswalks at all times. This is not just us trying to make it difficult on our parents or our students, but it is because we are in a business park and there are people all around us trying to get to and from work, and they have customers and clients that are coming to visit them, that they need to know that when those folks are trying to get to their businesses, that they can do so safely and that they can do so in a timely manner and that they are not hindered by the operation of our school. Okay, so it's really important that everybody follows the rules here. So where there is no crosswalk or is unsafe, it does, and people cross, it does lead to accidents and traffic delays, and that's where we get the majority of our complaints. Do not pull over on the side of the road to let your students out. That is a huge no-no. We have a drive line for a reason, and that is so that parents are not pulling over on the side of the road and letting their kids out. Not only is it unsafe for your kids, but it backs up traffic and it causes accidents. Okay, you cannot park in the businesses around us. You cannot park in the Hilton and walk over. You cannot pull in and drop off your student in the Hilton. If you do that, then please make sure that they are using the crosswalk. If you are dropping them off at the Hilton and they are crossing illegally, that is a problem. So please refrain from doing that. You cannot park and leave your car over at the Center for Strength and walk over. That is a big no-no because that building is not set aside just for the Center of Strength. There are other businesses that are inside that parking lot and they have a landlord, and that landlord gets very upset when cars are left on their property. You cannot park at the aquatic center and walk up. So please, please, please just make sure that you know how to approach our campus before you come. Cross where there, please do not cross where there is no crosswalk. That does delay traffic. And those who are driving a car are not expecting people to be there. And so you're now putting them in a position to where it could cause an accident. So this is how you access our campus from both the west and the east side as a walker and a bike rider. You see I have big red X's where you should not be crossing. The yellow dotted dashed line and the kind of orangish dashed line, those are the appropriate places where you can walk on the sidewalk, where you can also cross, and how you can access our campus. Okay, that's how all of our transportation is designed around those specific points of access. And so that means that if our transportation management plan was designed that those are being used to have maximum efficiency. In the afternoon, elementary walker pickup is on the east side of our elementary school building by the playground. You will use Pick My Kid to announce that you are there. We have an attendant at the back door that will release students when they see that the student's parent is there and that the student has been announced, and then they will help to make that connection, and then the student is dismissed. Do not park in the surrounding businesses because they have been instructed that they can ticket and that they can tow. So we are notifying all parents right now, and we will notify them throughout the year, and it'll be posted in our newsletter. If you park at any of the surrounding businesses, they have the right to ticket and tow. We do get emails often from the businesses asking us to email our parents to get them to stop. We send out communication all the time about this. We have moved to the position to where we are instructing all of the businesses to go ahead and start towing. So all families are going to be on notice that if they park in some of those other businesses and they get towed, that they have been put on notice, okay, that can be something that happens, okay? Now you can park in the neighborhood as long as you're parking legally on the street, following all of the parking laws. You're not blocking a driveway or somebody's garage. You're not parking too close to the stop sign or a fire hydrant. You're parking the right direction. So just keep in mind that you can get a ticket for any one of those offenses that I just mentioned. And you can also get towed for that also. Okay, so keep that in mind. Secondary walkers will exit the east side of the campus, but through the secondary school entrance, and then they can leave campus. We do not dismiss them. At 2:55, they are allowed to walk off campus. They must use the appropriate sidewalks and crosswalks. Now, something to keep in mind is that if you have an elementary school student and a secondary student, at 2:55, that secondary student is going to come over to the elementary school side and meet up with their elementary school sibling. If they are walking off campus, they will walk at that point off campus together. If they are getting picked up in a car, they will wait at the elementary school student's class stone, and then get picked up by car after 2:55. Okay, bike racks are located on the east side of the campus by the secondary school entrance. All students must use a lock to secure their bike. And please keep in mind that STEM is not responsible for bikes being stolen or missing. So make sure that if they are biking, again, they use those appropriate crosswalks, that they know about bike safety, wearing a helmet, all of that kind of stuff, and that they have an appropriate lock so that they can lock their bikes. Okay, we have two drive lines. We have an elementary drive line that is on our west side, and we have a secondary drive line, which is on our east side. Okay, the west drive line is for elementary school students and elementary school students with secondary siblings. Okay, families use this loop to drop off and pick up. Okay, the east drive line is for secondary students only. So if you have an elementary and a secondary student, or if you're in a carpool with an elementary and a secondary student, you will always use the west drive line, which is our elementary school drive line. No elementary school student can be picked up from the east drive line. Okay. We have the west drive line in the morning, opens up at 7:10. So if you pull into the parking lot prior to 7:10, you can wait there in line. Do not let your students out until those driveline attendants come out at 7:10 and begin opening up the doors. This driveline closes at 7:45. So students arriving at 7:45 or later will need to be signed in at the front desk by their parent. Now, the first week or so, when everybody's getting used to it, we will be backed up. We will allow students to come in tardy, so you don't need to worry about that. But as soon as we get through that first week of school, students should start to be arriving early or right on time at 7:30 if they want to, and getting into Driveline, but please plan accordingly that you could get stuck in traffic, okay? And that the earlier, the better. But don't drop off your students before 7:10 because we don't have any attendants outside to take care of your students. Please remember that cars entering into the parking lot, you can only make a right-hand turn. You cannot make a left-hand turn. So that means if you are trying to access our west drive line, which is our elementary school drive line, you cannot make a left into the parking lot. That means please do not approach the elementary drive line from the north. You have to come from the south because that's the only way that you can make a right-hand turn. Okay, so how you approach our campus, when you're coming from the south, you're going to come north on Barron's Boulevard and make a right into the parking lot. If you come south on Barron's Boulevard, we have an attendant there that will not let you make a left-hand turn into that parking lot. As you enter in, you'll enter in one car at a time, and then we'll ask for you to filter in to one of 3 lanes, and you'll see that in this graphic down towards the bottom. There's a green, a yellow, and there's a red lane. Okay, the green will circulate around, the red and the yellow lane will merge into one as you round that corner, and there'll be 2 lanes of traffic that'll continue through the parking lot. It's really important that we ask all 3 lanes to be used, especially in the morning, so that we can get as many cars in as we possibly can, and we don't have cars backing up onto Barron's Boulevard going all the way down to Monument. Now, the first few days, and we almost say the first 2 weeks of school, there will be a backup because everybody's getting used to a new rhythm. So we just say, please, please, please be patient. The earlier you can get to school, the better. I would not suggest arriving right at 7:30 if you can, just because you're going to have everyone else trying to get there at the same exact time. So for elementary school, the closer you can get there to 7:10, the better, because we can unload right away, get your kiddos lined up, and we can get you out and moving. It takes about 5 minutes. If you come at 7:30, it's going to take you longer. Okay, you're going to filter through the drive line, and then as you exit, after your student is unloaded, you can only make a right or a left. The lanes are marked a right or a left. Okay, so please do not try and cross over Barron's Boulevard into that neighborhood. Okay, the 2 lanes, it's either a right or a left. It is not straight. Okay. If you're dropping off a secondary student with your elementary school student, they will go into before school care. That's run through our enrichment programming, so they can access the middle school cafeteria starting as early as 7:20. That might be a little bit, maybe closer to 7:15 this year, depending on the attendance and when they can get there and when they start. And then, so your secondary students go into the middle school cafeteria, wait there until they get released to their classes starting at 7:30. Okay. So tips for Driveline on the west side: proceed as far forward as you can so we can stack as many cars into the parking lot. Stay in your lane. It's really important that you don't change lanes. Please listen to any of the instructions that the attendant is giving you. So a lot of times you might see me out there and I'm the one that's telling you what lane to go in. I understand that some of you might have a preference because you might want to make a right going out of the parking lot. I might have to put you in the left lane depending on how traffic is flowing and how cars are stacking. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to process as many cars as I can so that I can get as many kids in before they're late, and then parents get inconvenienced because they have to park and come in and sign in. Okay. Again, there's that bullet there. Cars will exit onto Barron's either making a right or a left. Okay. Please don't go straight across Barron's. Always remember in the morning, please stay off your phones. You don't need Pick My Kid at all in the morning. Just pull in. Once you're in the unload zone, the attendants will tell you your students, and they'll come around and they'll open up the doors, they'll let your kids out, then they'll instruct as to when you can move forward. So we can usually process somewhere around 24 to 26 cars at a time. So it's really important that kiddos are ready to go, because the faster we can unload in the morning, the faster we can get all the kids out lined up, and then they can get inside. This is incredibly important as it starts to get cooler temperatures. Okay. Now in the afternoon, these are our pickup times. We do have a placard system. Kindergarten is that first window, kindergarten and first grade. You see it's green. Their pickup window is from 2:20 to 2:30. However, we do open up the parking lot starting at 2:15. So we only let those who have a green placard only into the parking lot starting at 2:15 so that we can get your cars in order. And then we start putting them in order and Pick My Kid. The teachers start in the classroom start seeing what order the cars are in the system, and they start getting the kids lined up with their bags ready to go. That way at 2:20, all the kids come out and they know exactly where their cars are with the attendants, and we get everybody loaded. Okay, really important that if you have an orange placard or a yellow placard that you're not trying to get in at any one of those earlier times. We try to be very specific. We know how many kids are getting picked up, which means we know the amount of cars that we're trying to process, and that we're on a very specific time schedule as to how we try and process cars in and out. Okay. I didn't mention orange and yellow, but there you see what those timeframes are. So you see we do about 10 minutes for each one of those groups. That orange has about a 15 to 20 minute load window before we start letting in yellows. So just keep that in mind. The orange is probably our largest group. If you have a secondary student, when they get out at 2:55, they will come over and meet their elementary school student at their class stone, and then they will load starting at 2:55. Okay. West Driveline in the afternoon, every car needs a placard. So I have at the end of the slide the dates and times. I've also been sharing that in the parent newsletter of when you can start coming to pick up your placard for Driveline for both elementary and for secondary. We are printing them on site. So when you come in, you'll just let us know who your student is, how many placards you need, and the colors. So if you're carpooling, we'll need to see who you're carpooling with. So just be prepared for that. If in the middle of the year you lose your placard, you'll submit a request through that support@stemk12.org indicating your name, your student's name, the grade, and the number of placards that you need. Okay. We do ask that you leave the placard in your window the entire time, from the time that you enter into Driveline to the time that you exit. It really helps. We have numerous checkoff points throughout the pickup process to ensure that not only do we have the right colored placard, but that we're matching the student in the system with your car, and that we're also making sure when we go through and we do kind of like a final check that you have all of your kiddos. If you're missing any one of your kiddos, the placard helps us to identify which kiddo we're missing. So that way we don't have to get you to roll down your window, and then it speeds up the process. Okay. Every parent is going to use Pick My Kid on the west side for for pickup in the afternoon. We'll discuss secondary Pick My Kid usage. For right now, we're not using it as part of the pickup mode. On the secondary side, every parent needs to download Pick My Kid for emergency notifications. Okay. As the year progresses, we will be implementing Pick My Kid on the secondary side for pickup, but we're still working through what that looks like. Okay. Afternoon Driveline on the west side, you'll enter in, same thing as in the morning. All 3 lanes come in at your appropriate pickup time. You can only make a right, you can't make a left. We'll have an attendant at the entrance to Driveline that will be checking placards to make sure that it's the appropriate color. And if it is, let's say it's at that 2:20 window and an orange placard is trying to get in, we will make you circle. You cannot park on Barron's Boulevard, so we will make you circle until 2:30, until it's your time, and then you can enter safely into Driveline, into the line, and then enter into the parking lot. Okay, so you'll enter in taking all 3 lanes, and then you'll merge into the 2 as you round that corner. An attendant will be in the lanes, putting cars into order in the Pick My Kid app. That way the teachers inside the building can see who's in the load, the active loading cars of 24, and then who's in the next line. That way they can start getting kids ready. Okay. Once you enter into the parking lot and you're safely able to do so, you'll open up that Pick My Kid and announce yourself. Like I said, an attendant will come through Driveline, put the cars in order in the system. Keeping your placards in your window is super helpful, and because they can just go through and either punch in that code that's on the placard, or they find the name on the list, and it goes really fast. If we have to ask you for either your placard, or if we have to ask you like, hey, did you announce, it slows down the process. Please don't come into Driveline asking for help with the app, because they will not be able to help you with the app in Driveline. So please email us beforehand, call us, we'll get you set up with the app beforehand, or during the placard pickup time, we can help you with the app then. Okay, always listen to all the Driveline attendants in the afternoon also. They might be giving you some very specific instructions on what they need for you to do. Sometimes when a student isn't ready in enough time and we need to move the 24 cars, we might ask that one car to pull over and it'll then get loaded in the next set of 24 cars. So just make sure that you pay attention to what the Driveline attendants are asking you to do. Okay, the loading area is in front of the school. We fit about, like I said, 24 to 26 cars in there at a time, depending on how well they stack. And then we'll load those 24 cars. As soon as we process them all, we dismiss, we load the next set of 24 cars. Okay. This is the app called Pick My Kid. Make sure when you're in either the Apple store or the Android store that you are picking the parent app. That is different if you're a returning parent. If you didn't download it last year, they did push out a new app and that was the parent app. So make sure that you're using that. Please make sure that you make any changes by 2 o'clock that day, because we do go through, the teachers take a look at where kids are going. That way they can kind of help them prep for dismissal. It also, our after school enrichment program also moves kids, if they are in a club, moves them into the enrichment club. That way they can get announced and then the teacher knows that that student is getting announced to go into a club. Okay. You can, as a family, the system is set up for only 2 parents, but you can set up additional delegates. So if you are a 2-parent household, the Pick My Kid app will be set up with the primary parent of the one household and the primary parent of the second household. And so any additional parent or guardians that need to be added will need to be set up as delegates, and we can assist with that if the tutorials on the website don't help. Okay. Please do not have somebody coming to pick up your kiddo that is not delegated in the app. If you do so, it delays pickup and we will have to pull that car over. We will have to call you. We will have to get some sort of verification that that student is allowed to go home with this particular person. It is a security measure. We don't just let kids go home with anybody who they have not been delegated to. Okay. These are just some of the things that slow down Driveline in the afternoon. You will see on the parent Facebook page, there will be probably some complaints as to why Driveline is taking so long. These are going to be some of the reasons why. Okay. We sometimes are short on volunteers. We use all of our teacher aides. All of our teachers help with afternoon dismissal from their classrooms. So us having a good group of parent volunteers to come in and help with Driveline is so incredible in helping us speed up getting the cars loaded. So if you want to volunteer for that, certainly sign up. We could always use you. Coming in at the wrong time slows things down. Weather, if technology is not working correctly, that slows things down too. So just keep those things in mind. We try to be if we have some sort of delay that's happening, we try and communicate that out as quickly as possible through the app. Okay, West Driveline don'ts. Please don't park in the neighborhood across the street and block driveways. So those are public streets over there. But if you park in their driveway by their garages, or if you block access to their driveways, that is a big no-no and you can get a ticket. Also keep in mind, there are a certain number of feet that you are allowed to park from a stop sign and from a hydrant. Please keep that in mind because we do have parents that will get tickets for parking too close to the stop sign, parking the wrong way on the street, parking too close to the fire hydrant. We want to make sure that parents are aware so that they're not surprised when they get a parking ticket. Okay. Again, please park at the crosswalks at Barron's and Blue Point. Everybody wants to cross right at the exit to Driveline. That is a big, big no-no because it does impact, and we've cars getting out of Driveline, and we've actually seen quite a few kids getting hit, and we don't want to see that. Okay. Please, we do have an active school zone around our campus. It's not very well marked, but you are in a school zone, so please make sure that you don't speed. Okay. West Driveline dues. Please remember to use the app. follow all instructions from our SRO, our security manager, and our Driveline attendants. You may see our SRO out there from time to time. However, his responsibility is to keep students and staff safe inside the building. So he only comes out if he's really needed at Driveline. So we really need all parents to help us and work together for Driveline so that we don't have to pull our SRO out from inside of the school. That's not his responsibility. We do pay for extra police assistance with Driveline in the mornings. However, we don't always get that position filled or picked up by an off-duty police officer. So just keep that in mind. If you do see a police officer there at the exit, it's not that anything's wrong. He's just helping with traffic flow, trying to get people to do the right thing and cross at the right spots. Okay. Now we're going to talk about East Driveline. So it's really important for our East Driveline. So this is for our secondary students, that you approach our campus coming from the north. Please do not approach our campus coming from the south, because you cannot, if you're on Ridgeline, you cannot make a left into the parking lot. If you're coming up Barron's Boulevard from the south, you are going to get struck in the West Driveline traffic. There is a center turn lane. It is not a passing lane. Okay, so please keep that in mind, that if you're trying to take Barron's north, that and you use that center lane, you're doing the wrong thing. Okay, so approach our campus from the north, okay, or from the west. You can come along Monument, you can come along Plaza Boulevard in both directions, but come from the north side and then go south. Okay, you can enter our Driveline starting at 7:30. You can actually enter in a little bit earlier than that, but please don't let your students out of your car until 7:30. We do not have any attendants outside, and you should not be dropping off your students before 7:30, okay? Students arriving after 7:50 will need to sign in at the front desk. Parents do not need to sign in a secondary student. However, the student will have to sign in, which will go down as a tardy, okay? So again, just some instructions: approach from the north onto Ridgeline, follow the traffic flow. You really have to think of the East Driveline as like, the wheel and spoke. Just be nice and let cars in one at a time and it'll all flow, okay? Again, you cannot make that left turn into the parking lot. Now, you might see some cars making a left turn lane in. Those are only staff members, okay? Our secondary staff have a report time of 7:30. So in order to not get stuck in Driveline, we do allow for them to come from the south and make a left into the parking lot. They should have an employee tag, and then they park over there. The same thing on the west side. So if you see a car making a left-hand turn into the parking lot, it is a staff member. The attendant is allowing them to make that left-hand turn in. Okay. Once you enter into the Driveline, please stay in your lane. Again, do not change lanes once you're in the Driveline. Okay. You're going to pull forward as far as you can to allow as many cars to stack behind you. The left two lanes, so you'll see these in yellow, they're designated for middle school and high school Driveline. The green lane in this graphic, that is for, that's on the right-hand side, that is for carpool. And that is for high school student drivers. Okay, super important that you make sure that if you are dropping off your secondary student, that you're in one of those yellow lanes. And if you're a carpool or a high school, you're in that green lane. And then you see where that green lane goes. Okay. You have to stop and wait until all the vehicles around you come to a complete stop. And then the attendants will instruct you. They'll instruct the first few cars to open up their doors, and then students will exit their vehicles. They'll come to the front. The attendants will allow them to cross to the school building safely. And then the attendants will then process the cars to then indicate that the cars can now exit Driveline because they've been, all the students have gotten out. So when you exit out onto Ridgeline, you will make a right-hand turn. You cannot make a left coming out of the parking lot. Okay, everything's going to be a right. You're going to get very, very familiar and comfortable with right-hand turns. Okay. Drivers, this is just continuing what I had already said, that when you exit, as you're exiting out, so you have those two yellow lanes, as they kind of make that turn, to drive in front of the school, those 2 lanes are going to merge into one. That way we have 1 lane exiting the drive line, making a right-hand turn. That carpool lane will also feed into that as well. I know it sounds like it's going to be a mess, but it actually works really, really well. High school drivers, they need to have a parking pass. So if you have there are any families here that have a high school student that will be driving and they don't have a parking pass yet, you need to make sure that they get one. That information is on the website and in the parent newsletter. Okay. There is a crosswalk that's right in front of the school doors. And so that's where students will be crossing from the parking lot. Okay, so just keep an eye on that. We have 2 pickup times in the afternoon. We have our pink placards. They start from 2:55 to 3:05. And we have our blue placards that go from 3:05 to 3:15. It is super, super important. We have a lot of families that try and that come early and that park in our parking lot. We do not have the staff to go out and ask those cars to move. So if you are one of those cars that comes before that 2:55 to sit in the parking lot, or even before 2:45, let's say, we need for you to stop doing that, because if there is any type of an emergency, you are blocking our driveway and you are also blocking our parking lot. So it's really important that people don't come in before 2:45. Okay. The placard pickup will also be, I'll share dates with that at the end of this week. We do have a sign up for that. You just pick the time slot that you come. We do have to divide out our pickup times between pink and blue. We can't ever have everybody come at pink, or else we will overflow our parking lot and then block traffic onto Ridgeline. Okay. In the afternoon, you'll follow a very similar format as you do in the morning. Entering the parking lot, making a right, not a left. You'll follow around, and that green lane is for carpool only. And you have to have a carpool sticker on your placard. So you have to sign up for that in advance, and you need to fill out a form that indicates who is in your carpool with you. Okay, we will have some attendants outside helping to stack cars, so please make sure that you're following what their instructions are. Okay, the pickup area is in where it's in the actual parking lot. It's not in what we call the snake. Okay, so again, we only load somewhere between about 24 to 26 cars in that yellow area, that when it's facing the school, that's kind of our loading zone. I don't know if you can see my mouse there, but we load those cars, and then as soon as they're loaded, then we process them out and get the next set in and get them loaded. Okay. Again, all cars, as they come around, just like in the morning, they'll merge into 1 lane and make a right to exit out of the parking lot. No left turn coming out of the parking lot. Okay. Bikers and walkers will be released at dismissal and must cross at the designated crosswalks. So there are a lot of students and families that are parking over where the Center for Strength is, and then they're crossing where there is no crosswalk, which is right at the exit to our drive line. This needs to stop because it is causing a massive traffic impact. We've also had a student that got hit by a car there last year. And it is also encouraging people to park where they shouldn't be parking. Okay. East drive lines don't park in the surrounding businesses. We cannot stress that enough. Okay. No stopping on Ridgeline to drop or pick up your student. Please don't call them and be like, hey, I'm down at Ridgeline, just run down and I'll pick you up real quick. It is a blind corner. You will get rear-ended. It happens all the time. And we have the sheriff's office right down the street that does regular patrols around the campus, and they will give you a pretty hefty fine. Okay. Don't be on your phone. Don't speed. The other thing, which I didn't have on here, which we've shared in the past, for those who are on Ridgeline in the morning, if they happen to be heading north, okay, the north, the straight lane and the turn lane is all 1 lane. People like to go around that into the bike lane and into the turn lane and circumvent traffic. Okay. We've seen our SRO has pulled over quite a few people and giving them tickets. So that's more of like a heads up to you. That's kind of out of our jurisdiction, but I want to make sure that I at least tell parents you can get a ticket there. Just be patient, let those cars make that left-hand turn. And then if you need to, keep going straight, but really you shouldn't be going straight because you shouldn't be making a left into the parking lot. Driveline dues, follow, same thing as on the west side, display your placard in the afternoon, follow all the instructions from the SRO, ask questions if you need any help. Okay, this is just some more information. This is the sign up genius for our secondary placard sign up. It is also available on our website and in the newsletter, but when I post this, you can access this there. If you need a placard mid-year, you submit a ticket through support@stemk12.org. This is our carpool program. So we can connect families through a program called Way to Go. They have, it's called School Pool. There is a link there. It's a secure site. So please don't share that outside of here, because we don't want anybody who does not have a STEM student to set up a carpool and then something happens. So that's the secure site. You can access that. We will be sending that through School Messenger to you guys directly so that you can sign up. It's for parents who want to, who need a carpool, and then it's for also families who say, I can take somebody in my carpool. So it's those two features, and it's supposed to help parents connect with one another so that they can set up a carpool. Once you have that carpool set up and Way to Go, the next step is to then get your carpool placard, which is that last link that's right there. It's a Google form. And then we go and we check the Way to Go system, make sure that you're a carpool that's set up in there. And then we verify that through the Google form. That way you can get your little sticker. Okay. There's a video here, which I'm not going to play, but you can access that when I share out the slides, and it's also on our website, and it explains how School Pool works. This is our placard pickup dates and times. Okay, so we are printing placards on site this week. So Wednesday, August 2nd from 7:30 to 2. This is going to be in the secondary commons. You access the secondary commons through our new athletics entrance, which is on the west side of the school building. Okay. We will also have information there about Pick My Kid, and we will also have information about the Way to Go School Pool. So if you will have some nice maps up there. So if you want to see, oh my gosh, there's a, you know, somebody that lives close to me and I didn't know about that. If they sign up for a Way to Go School Pool, which is hopefully what everybody will do, hopefully you can get connected and get signed up for a carpool that way. We'll also be doing placard printing and pickup on August 3rd from 1 to 5. And then on Monday, we will do placard pickup at the respective front offices. Okay. So now I'm going to open it up to questions. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, come back to the group, and open it up to any questions. If you've been putting things into the chat box, I am not going to go through it just yet. I'm going to allow for people to unmute themselves and ask their questions live.
If we already have a neighbor to carpool with, do we just do the pool, carpool placard, or do we also have to sign up for School Pool and just indicate that we already have somebody?
It would be great if you did it through the School Pool. That way we could verify it. And then we also get points with the regional, it's the Denver Regional Council of Governments. They set it up. So we do get some cool points as a school, and, you know, get prizes and stuff like that we can give to students. Like they've done a pizza party before where they come out and then they like pick a grade or something like that who's performing well. So it's great if we have the engagement through the School Pool, because it's a service that they provide. Additionally, keep in mind that that carpooling is not just for two, it's three, you have to have kids from multiple families. And so there's parameters around what that carpool is. Okay. And I'm not remembering what it is off the top of my head, but when you click that link, it'll explain it. Okay.
Hey, Nicole, I might have missed this. We do still have the walker option this year, right?
Yes, for elementary school, walker dismissal is going to be the same place where it was last year if you're a returning parent. So it's on the east side by the playground.
Yeah, and what about for middle schoolers? They just come out, they just walk and come out. Is that how does it work? Is that a walker option for middle school?
Yes, at 2:55, if you have a middle school student that's going to walk, at 2:55, they can just walk off campus.
Okay. And do we have to sign for that, or nothing's required?
If it's just the secondary student, you don't need to sign. If you have a secondary student that is picking up their elementary sibling as a walker, they don't need to sign. They can walk off at 2:55 together.
Okay,
If you only have an elementary school student and you want them to walk off campus without you picking them up, you have to contact the front office to get the approved walker form and fill that out. That way we have to have that on file to say that you are taking responsibility, that as soon as you're giving them permission to walk off campus, without you at a specific time. Now, I do believe that there is a grade cutoff. So I want to say it's 4th and 5th grade that can do that. I don't think we allow lower than 4th grade to do that, but the front office would know.
and for middle school students, will they be using Pick My Kid this year for the walker, or no, that will,
Nope.
that,
No, we just need secondary families to download it right now because we want to do emergency notifications
okay,
through Pick My Kid. So
Okay.
like weather delays and stuff like that, we want to start incorporating Pick My Kid in there as another layer for notification. So we want to make sure that all families are signed up for it. Eventually, we will incorporate Pick My Kid on the secondary side because it does allow for the parent to communicate with a student through the app to say, hey, I am here, once they hit our geofence. So it just creates that additional layer, but we don't have that part set up just yet.
So how will we pick up the kids for middle school when you don't have the app? Are the kids just going to be all out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So you can so if your student knows that you have a pink placard and you're in the 2:55 window, they filter in and they stand kind of on, there's a sidewalk that goes down. They look for their cars. They look for their cars as they enter in the parking lot. And then they know as soon as they round the corner and they're in the active loading zone, that's when they can get in.
And is the same if you were doing like a carpool thing as well?
Yes, but your kids need to know that you're in the carpool.
Certainly. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. And is the carpool slightly faster than the other 2 yellow lanes?
I mean, it depends on how many carpools we have. I think after COVID, we did it. Prior to COVID, I want to say that there was the year prior to me being here, there was a pretty robust carpool program. And then since COVID, we've had probably about like 30 families in the carpool program. It would be great if we had more because then it would alleviate off of the rest of the 2 yellow lanes that go. So we do encourage people to find their carpool and sign up for one.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, just quick question for Spartan launch. Do we have are the parents able to go in with their kind of timid 3rd graders?
Yes, but we'll probably have to do kind of that soft goodbye at the doors, at the last set of doors. You won't be going in with them past the inner doors, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Is there any parking at all in the vicinity for at least the middle graders for the parents to park legally and then pick them as walkers?
Not really.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're in a business park, so aside from the neighborhood that's across the street, you can park there legally. However, what happens a lot is that parents park, like they think they're parking legally and then they block a driveway. And it's probably within about 20 minutes of a parent doing it, I get an email with a picture, a license plate from their HOA, and they're like, this parent did this, you need to give them a ticket. And then it creates this whole runaround where we then get, like it creates a lot of extra work. So that's why we really strongly encourage families, if you're going to park over there, make sure you know where to park. And it's not guaranteed that you will have parking. So just keep that in mind and be prepared that if you can't find parking, you need to enter into the drive line. Other questions?
What is the
Nicole, did you, oh, sorry. Go
what
ahead.
is the time to get in and get out? Like, it looks like we really have to time because we cannot park anywhere, we cannot come early, we cannot leave early. I mean, it's a really very limited time zone where we need to be there. So what would be the safest time zone where somebody should be there, be it picking or dropping? Like, what do you suggest?
What grade?
Elementary,
Okay.
kindergarten?
So kindergarten, you're gonna have your Spartan launch, okay, and they're gonna so we will do kind of like like you'll have a soft entry into Driveline for when you come into Spartan launch, and then that first real day that they have, you will not be doing Driveline with the rest of the families, right? So you'll kind of practice it that first way in. So their first day of school is that Monday, which
Yeah, 8th August.
no, their kindergarten's first day is the following week, the first real day where they come with everybody.
That's 11th, I think. 8, 9, 10th are the 3
Those are
days that
your, yep, so 8, 9, and 10 are your Spartan launch. The 11th, you will do a half day. And then that Monday will be their first like full day where you actually will come and do Driveline. So for you on that first full day, you can come as early as 7:10, okay? And the
Mhm.
attendants will come and get them out of the car and get them take them into the cafeteria, okay? But you won't be able to like park and let them out, which is one of the reasons why we let you do that on that Friday. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if you could just reiterate the same for the middle as well.
Okay, so middle school Spartan launch will be on Monday, the 7th, okay? You won't be doing like a simulated Driveline unless you really want to. But it's more so for the parents to organize it because there's 2 different time slots that you sign up for. So when you come on that Tuesday for the first day of school, you can come as early as if you want to pull into the parking lot at 7:20 and wait there, you totally can. But don't let your kiddos out until 7:30. Okay, that's when the attendants come out. They will get your kiddos out of the car, or they'll tell you the cars, you can open up the doors now, let's get your kiddos in. But just allow for patience probably that first week for 4 days for secondary, because everybody's like, where's my backpack? I lost my lunchbox, my jacket, this, and they're running back to the car. So
And what about the pickup aspect? Like in the evening, you said 2:55 is the bell to get out, right?
it is, and depending on what placard color you sign up for is when you enter in the parking lot.
Okay, and we'll get the time based on that placard when we pick it up, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so just make sure that on the secondary side, make sure that you sign up for one of those 2 time slots, because it's like 350 cars for 2:55 and 350 cars for 3:05. So you need to make sure that you sign up for one of those time slots. If we're full at the earlier time slot, you will have to come at the 3:05.
Okay, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Well, this
Quick,
is also relevant for kindergartens.
Say that one more time.
The play card thing is also relevant for the kindergartens.
Yes. So you're gonna have to come during one of those. You don't need to sign up for kindergarten. You do on the secondary side because of how many cars that we need to process. We can only process 350 in the parking lot during that 10-minute window. So on the elementary side, you don't need to sign up, but you do need to come and pick them up.
Okay. And for the first 3 days of the Spartan launch, like let's say I have like a time slot taken on the first day. So I
Mhm.
need not the second day and the third day because
Correct. You only need to come once.
okay, out of that 3 days, only once for the 1.5 hour assessment. That's it, right?
That's right.
And then straight away on the Friday.
Yes,
Okay, thanks.
you're welcome.
okay. For the middle schoolers, I know there's a holding area in the cafeteria in the morning. Can you talk a little bit about that? What time it starts and who can go there?
Yeah, so that's, that'll be in the middle school cafeteria, which is on the west side. So that's for if you're dropping off an elementary and a secondary student at the same time. The secondary student will go into the middle school cafeteria and wait there until they can be released to their classrooms.
But if I don't have an elementary student, I cannot use that option at all.
You would have to sign up for before school care through the our enrichment programming. So are you looking to try and drop off before 7:30?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, so then you'd have to sign up through our enrichment programming for before school care.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
you're welcome.
For students who have a sibling, elementary school students who have a sibling in secondary, how do you know that that elementary school student is going to get picked up at 2:55 instead of 2:40? Do we have to put something in Pick My Kid?
So if I'm understanding it right, an elementary school student is getting picked up with with a secondary student, right?
Correct.
Okay, so at 2:55, all the kids stay in the classroom during pickup for elementary. At 2:55, any of the kiddos that are remaining come down and they wait at the class stone. Then the secondary students at 2:55 come out and meet their sibling at the class stone. And then at 2:55, the parents come in with the yellow placards and then they pick up those students.
Okay, so we'll have a different colored placard for that.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Nicole, can you clarify the Spartan launch? Because I assumed it was something for the parents and the students to attend, but it sounds like we're really actually kind of just dropping them off like in a, like
Yep.
a run through of the launch, and so we should really do the whole Driveline drop off like we would on the actual school day and pick them up like the Driveline, go through the Driveline, pickup process. Is that correct? I mean, could you walk us maybe through the Spartan launch?
Yes. So are we elementary or secondary?
First grade.
First grade. Okay. So your Spartan launch will be on that Monday, the 7th. Spartan launch for grades 1 through 12 is Monday, the 7th. And that's for new to STEM students or new students that are going from like 5th grade into 6th grade or 8th grade into 9th grade, right? And they're in those transition grades. Okay. And that's so that the student has the opportunity to come in and meet their new teachers. Okay. They get the lay of the land if they didn't already know where they were going, if they're brand new to the school, right? They learn about their lockers, they learn how to get access to their emails, Canvas accounts, they get a tour of the school. They learn just all kinds of things during that time block. So if you have a returning kiddo that's going from like 8th to 9th grade and they already know everything, you don't need to send them to Spartan launch. It's really just, but if you have an 8th grader going to 9th grade that's super nervous about going to high school and is like, nope, I want to like relearn everything. It might be different, right? Just to put them at ease, have them come. Okay. So there's 2 time slots. So we always try and say, we're not running like a whole pickup drop off kind of scenario like we would in the morning or in the afternoon. We kind of let parents manage themselves, but it is a great opportunity for you to figure out what is my route going to be to get to campus? How am I going to access the parking lot? I'm going to get familiar with what lane I want to be in. Some parents really like to pick a lane, especially on the elementary school side. They like to say, okay, if I can always try and get that inner lane, then I can make the left out of the parking lot. So they like to map it out and plan how long it's going to take them to get there and how long it's going to take them to leave and stuff like that. So that's what we say by preparing parents.
Okay, I have a question about 3rd graders. My daughter is going to 3rd grade, so she's going to the East Driveline, correct?
Mhm.
Okay, so how does Spartan launch apply to her?
So again, it's those 2 time slots. You're going to come in and when you drop her off, you're probably going to want to walk her in because you're new to school, new to STEM, new to 3rd grade, that kind of thing. So you can park, you can walk her in, Or you can park and just say, there you go, sweetie, have a good time, and let her out and run her in. It's completely up to you how you want to approach that situation. And then you're going to exit. So we're not doing like a drive line setup how we would on like the first day of school. It's,
Okay, so I can park anywhere inside the campus?
yeah, during Spartan lunch, you can.
Okay, okay, excellent. And I'm gonna be doing carpool, and I learned out that I can sign up so the school gets the point, so I can definitely do that. And I'm gonna do carpool for I don't know about the Spartan Lounge, but that following Tuesday, that's a regular school day, right?
Yep, Tuesday's the first day of school for 1st through 12th grade.
Excellent. Okay, that's clear now. Okay, so for Spartan Lounge, so that applies to third graders, the Spartan Lounge on Monday. Hers, I guess.
If they're new to STEM, yes. If they're a returning student, if they were a second grader with us last year,
Yeah.
they don't need to come.
They don't need to. Okay, but she doesn't know the teacher. I guess it's a new teacher. She got the new teacher, so she's a little nervous.
So she can come that day if she wants to.
Okay.
But we generally try, like, a lot of it is like, I want to, like, aside from the tour, that's the only other time that a student, and they might not have been here. So Spartan Launch is the time for those new students to really like get familiar with the school. So, but if they have a new teacher and if they want to come, they can.
Okay, that will put her at ease. Thank you so much for answering my question. Okay, goodbye.
So if my timeline for the Spartan launch, that assessment thing is 11:30, what do you suggest? Like, when should I show up there, and when should I show up afterwards? Like, 1.5 hour later. Like, what do you suggest?
It should say a time window. I'm sorry, I don't have them like memorized. It should be on when you signed up for it, it should have given you a time window. So if
Yeah.
it's 11:30, you can show up at like 11:15, and you can walk in, and if you want to like get her comfortable, you can come right at 11:30. It's completely up to you.
And there is no drive line, nothing for that 3 days period, right?
Not for kindergarten Spartan Launch, no.
Yeah. And another thing is, like, can I collect my pink or blue, whatever play card is there during that period?
During kindergarten, you can. The only thing that is, we strongly encourage parents to come during this time when we have the help and the assistance to help parents. That first week of school, if you have a lot of questions trying to get set up with the app and all that kind of stuff, we might not have the additional resources to answer all of your questions at that particular time right away, right? It might take longer because we have everybody that's inside the building with the students. So just keep that in mind, okay?
Okay. Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I have a question. I have a first grader who's new to STEM. And so we're going to be doing the launch on the 7th. But on his first day, I can already tell just by the way I tried to do Driveline in our old kindergarten and he was not having it. So I'm sure I'm going to be parking and walking him in. And I know you told another parent that it's that second set of doors where that's going to be the kind of drop off. Will there be someone then to kind of take him to his classroom? Because he'll have only been there once, or?
So if you're talking about like walking up in the morning.
Yeah, on that very first day of school, that
so,
Tuesday.
So the walker door is actually only in the afternoon. Okay. So we'll have everybody come through the front door in the morning. Okay. So if you want to walk him up, you can walk him up to his class stone outside where the teacher is. And then you can leave him there with his teacher and the rest of his classmates.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What is the procedure when they're in the base program after school? How do we pick them up from that?
So they run independent from us. So I'm going to try and answer that as best as I can. And if I have something slightly incorrect, my apologies. But it's my understanding that the attendants from base go around and pick up the students from the classroom, take them into base. And when you come to pick them up, there's a sign on the door. You call that number, and then you say, I'm, Johnny's mom, and I'm coming to pick up Johnny. And they say, okay, we'll bring him right out. And then they do like a secure handoff.
So it sounds like we would park and then go up to the door.
Yes. I
Okay,
don't know
thank
if
you.
they're instituting any type of app system or anything like that. So I just know
Okay.
I always see the sign on the door.
Okay,
And yeah,
all right, thanks.
you're welcome.
Hi, Nicole. You had earlier mentioned that there was a link for a Sign Up Genius to pick which placard we wanted. This is for secondary.
Yes.
And I didn't see what your screen was showing, but on the website, on the Driveline page, when you click that link, it goes to Sign Up Genius, but it says it's expired.
Okay. So go back to the homepage and
Okay.
find them in the rotator. Click on the one that says Back to School Hub.
Okay.
That page should have the sign up. It should also have the carpool sign up. It should have it should have a ton of information on it that you might also need to know too, but the signups on that page, I'll make sure to go to the other page and update that.
Okay, great.
And Nicole, I just did the sign up. It is live and active through the newsletter.
Yes. Okay, good.
So just so you know that. So that's another way to get to the sign up Genius.
Thank you.
Hey, Nicole, I'm not getting the newsletter somehow. I verified my email address, mine and my wife's email address with the front desk, and that is correct.
Okay.
And
Have you received any notifications from us? Anything about Express check-in?
yeah, everything except the newsletter.
Okay.
Clearly getting your emails as well.
Okay. If you could email communications@stemk12.org, and then I can dig into that a little bit more.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Uh-oh, somebody had a question.
So Nicole, at the start of this meeting, we were discussing about the supplies for the elementary, right? So my kiddo is going in kindergarten. So by when you guys are expecting the supplies to be brought in?
If they want to bring them during Spartan lunch, they can during their designated time frame, or they can bring them on the first day of school. I would suggest you bring them during that Spartan lunch time frame, just because it's a little less hectic than on that first day of school, because they'll inevitably be, we always have students that are super excited and then they forget everything, or we have the students that are crying and there's just so much stress, and then you're trying to bring in all of their supplies. So if you want to bring them during that Spartan launch, you can.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So in the payment thing, Nicole, there were pre-8 August and post-8 August. So I already paid the pre-8 August one. So we are expecting another thing to coming after 8 August, which will show up in that Buck app.
In the Pick My Kid app, or
No. In the school Buck or some app is there.
okay. So there should have been like a student fee that was loaded.
Yeah. It was loaded for it has got 2 sections, I think. In the PDF, it says there would be one charge which is pre-8th August, and there is another charge which will show up after 8th August.
Okay.
So I already paid the one which is before 8th August. I'm done with that. Right now it's showing 0. But
Okay.
then
I would say if you have a question, I'm not too familiar with the payment system, so
gotcha.
You can also, if you have a question about it, the info@stemk12.org, email that and we'll get you to the right person.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, what other questions?
I guess let's start the drill on the first.
I guess since I still have a few of you, I will be sending out some important information about lightning delays and how we handle lightning dismissals. That will be going out this week. It's really important, especially for our new families, that you get familiar with that. Returning families, not too much has changed with that policy, but we will be using that Pick My Kid app also to send out notifications when we are in a lightning delay. But it's really important. We are getting a lot of thunderstorms, and they are almost always going to be at dismissal. So you should prepare yourself that we could potentially be in a lightning delay the first week of school. And we'll share out what that policy is. It's also in the student parent handbook. So if you want to go ahead and read it in advance and get familiar with it, you can, but we'll be sending it out as kind of like a pull out bit of information this week so that parents start to prepare themselves for that. It can be stressful. It also can be very annoying, but just know that we're doing what's best to keep your kiddos safe and inside the building. Kate, did you have a question?
Yeah, can I ask about school supply lists for middle school?
Yes, we don't have any for middle school, like that's a general supply list. So the teachers will, if they have any needs for supplies for their classroom, they will share that with students during the first week of school in their course description or their course syllabus or however they have it set up in Canvas.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll just add something for middle school supplies because my son will be an 8th grader. So laptop, critical, and all the mechanical pencils you can put in their bag. No kid has enough pencils. So I would just add that.
So my kids have a Chromebook. Is that sufficient, or do they need a laptop?
That's fine. I would just say there is a on our home, if you go to our website, we've also been putting it in the newsletter. And I believe it's also on that back to school hub, but if you click under About Us, there's technology support. And on that page, it also has like laptop requirements, like the minimum requirements. But a Chromebook is fine. Just keep in mind if they start to head down the more sophisticated and more technical computer science courses, they might need a laptop that is a little bit more
robust.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, for kindergarten, does he need to carry a iPad or something? Because
She'll have everything in the classroom. Kindergarten, first, K through 12, all their technology will be supported inside the classroom. And that's new for 5th grade this year. We are providing all the Chromebooks for 5th graders.
Okay, so no worries on that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Oh,
Well,
could you go over, you maybe do this elsewhere, but since there are other middle schoolers, lunches for middle school? I know that changed last year, and I wondered if it was going to be the same for this year.
I believe they are still by class. So 6th, 7th, and 8th grade have their own individual lunches. So that's also one of the reasons why that impacts how we build out the schedules, because you always need to make sure that you can only offer certain classes at certain times because of how you do grade specific lunches. I don't have from the Miss Ritter yet, or when the school lunch period is. So as soon as I have that from her, I will be sharing that out this week also, because I know that's always a question as to when does my student have lunch. So I'll be sharing that out also this week. Okay, well, I want to thank everybody for joining me today. I hope you come back and join me tomorrow. We will be talking tomorrow about getting informed. That has everything to do with IC, attendance, how to visit STEM, our student parent handbook, fees, school photos, all of that kind of stuff will be tomorrow's Zoom webinar. If you have any questions in between now and tomorrow, feel free to email communications@stemk12.org, and I will try to get through all of your questions. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day, everybody.
You're gonna send the separate link for tomorrow's webinar?
Yeah, it's all the same link.
Okay, cool. And what time tomorrow?
Noon to 1.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.